Hi, Rebels! I'm Paloma, and today we're talking to a really awesome writer and filmmaker named Alexis Garcia. Hi, Alexis! Thank you so much for being on the show. Can you please start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. My name is Alexis Garcia, and I'm a writer, director, visual storyteller, filmmaker, and I currently live in Los Angeles, California.
That's so cool. And I'm a writer too. My favorite type of writing is fictional because you can make up your own stories. How did you know you wanted to tell stories through film?
I loved The Wizard of Oz during my childhood. I just thought it was so fascinating the way that they were able to imagine a new world, and also how Dorothy went on an adventure that took place in her dreams, but that we as the audience were taken along for the ride. I think that was when I first started believing that I wanted to work in film and visual storytelling.
Aw, I love that movie. Putting a film together takes a lot of work and a lot of people. How did you decide what your role would be?
The only thing I knew at that time was acting, right? Because I didn't know that there was a director or a writer. And so the older I got, the more I learned about filmmaking. And when I was in high school, I did a summer program that was a production program. And that's when I really had the opportunity to understand and learn what making movies entails. And so when I went to college, I studied screenwriting, but I also really wanted to learn the production process and learn directing. And I worked as an assistant to a TV director for a few years in order to learn how to direct. And after that, I directed my first short film. And then I started working in digital media.
That sounds like a lot of great experience. Where do you get inspiration for a new project?
There is inspiration literally everywhere. And when you get that inspiration, it's really important that you write your idea down and then you can pursue it and build it out to become a longer story.
Ooh, okay. I have got to start doing that. But then how do you take an idea and turn it into a real-life movie?
If you want to make a documentary, the next step would be for you to research that particular topic. But if you want to write kind of a fictional story like The Wizard of Oz, the next step would be to think about your main character and figure out who they are and figure out what you want the audience to take away from their story and figure out what it is that you want to convey with your story is a very important step in the whole production process for telling a visual story.
Got it. That's cool. What kind of stories do you like to tell in your films?
I'm really interested in female-driven stories and stories about identity, about cultural identity. I love to explore what it means to be Puerto Rican. And I have this theme about coming home to myself, coming home physically, coming home spiritually. And so right now, those are the themes that really resonate with me in the work that I'm doing.
That's really interesting. What about characters? Do you have a favorite type of character to write about?
I really enjoy stories about people who are outsiders because I felt like an outsider for a long time. It was hard for me to fit in and find my people at many different points in my life because my family moved around a lot during my childhood. The way that I learned to integrate into these new environments was through comedy. And so while my stories are about, or like my characters generally are about an outsider, I also really enjoy the humor.
Humor is such a great tool. I love that approach. So you took all of these interests and skills and started a production company with your cousin. Can you tell us more about your partnership in starting Botanica Pictures?
I founded a production company with my cousin, Selena Morales. We grew up together going to our grandparents' house. We call it the farm in Puerto Rico because it was, a house in a mountain with a bunch of land around it. Our grandmother, before moving to Puerto Rico, had a Botanica in the Bronx. For people who don't know what a Botanica is, It's like a pharmacy for the soul. My grandmother's a spiritual medium, so she uses her intuition to help guide people through life's challenges. We started this production company after we worked together on my most recent film. It's called Daughter of the Sea, which came out in 2022. The name Botanica Pictures just kind of sprung out of our grandmother's legacy of having this Botanica in the Bronx and kind of honoring her through the stories that we want to tell. We decided that we want to tell transformational stories through film. We want to think of storytelling as a healing modality, and storytelling is healing, period. And so it's been very fun to find and discover this new chapter in my life with my cousin and our company.
That sounds so great. What's a project coming up that you're really excited to work on?
Like when I was that kid watching The Wizard of Oz, my aspiration was to one day tell a feature-length story. And now, after all this time, I'm finally on that path. But that is the one thing that I'm so excited to do with my career and this, next chapter of my career.
Congratulations! That's a huge accomplishment. And you've clearly worked really hard for it. Do you have any advice for a kid who wants to make movies herself one day?
Write down all of your ideas. Always keep a notepad and a pen or pencil handy. Or if you have a device that you can put in a notes app, always write down your ideas when they come, because you're going to need those ideas and you'll be so grateful that you wrote them down when you did. Because the thing about good ideas is if you don't write it down, you will probably forget it. Ideas are funny like that. They're very magical.
That's so true. Ideas are magical. And if you could go back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be?
I would tell her to have patience. I think one of the challenges of learning how to become a filmmaker is that it takes a lot of time. The truth of it is that anything worth having takes work. This idea of the universe rewarding bravery means that you have to take a risk in order to reap any reward. And so I would encourage you to take some creative risks in order to achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve. And that's the advice that I would give my younger self.
I love that. Okay, Alexis, I have one last question for you. What makes you a rebel girl?
There's no handbook for becoming a filmmaker or a writer-director. I think that there are many different paths to achieving this end. And I took a completely different path than anyone I know, and I haven't given up yet. And I think that that is something that takes some rebel girl energy. So really believe in yourself and don't give up.
Following your dreams takes some rebel energy for sure. I'm sure all of our future filmmakers are feeling especially inspired. Thank you so much for talking with us today, Alexis.
Thank you for this opportunity, truly.
My pleasure. And thank you for watching, Rebels. Be sure to tune in next time and stay rebel.